One minute, you're polishing Grammys with your childhood friends. The next, you're staring at MTV, wondering why two strangers are lip-syncing your verses. That was LaTavia Robertson's gut punch in early 2000, a televised blindside that sliced Destiny's Child in half and reshaped pop history. For 25 years, fans have asked the same razor-edge question: who really pushed LaTavia out? And why has the answer stayed locked behind polite smiles and sealed contracts? But the whispers never stopped. Long before world tours or stadium-shaking key changes, Beyonce Knowles and LaTavia Robertson were simply two Houston schoolgirls who harmonized at recess and prayed their voices would carry them somewhere bigger. Church competitions turned into local talent shows, then into Girls' Time, the six-member precursor to Destiny's Child that Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad, quickly turned into his after-hours project. Weeks melted into rehearsals, uniform fittings, and pep talks about sacrifice. The young duo soaked up every lesson. Perfection wins, hesitation costs. By the time Columbia Records stamped Destiny's Child on their first CD spine in 1998, Beyonce's agile riffs and LaTavia's velvet alto blended like honey over brass. Hits followed. Bills climbed. The Writings on the Wall sold 8 million, and 4 teenage Texans suddenly owned R&B's summit. Yet success magnifies every crack. Account statements took forever to arrive. Per diem envelopes felt thinner than platinum plaques suggested. Matthew's company, Music World Entertainment, signed nearly every check, and almost every decision circled back to him. The friendship was real, LaTavia insists, but trust started leaking. The second money entered the room. And when trust leaves, lawyers enter. In late 1999, LaTavia and fellow member LeToya Luckett quietly hired outside counsel to audit Destiny's Child's finances. They sent Matthew a courtesy letter. "We want transparency, not mutiny." Within days, Matthew's reply, delivered through attorneys, read more like an eviction notice. The girls said they first learned they were out when the video for Say My Name premiered, featuring two unfamiliar faces. Imagine switching on TRL to celebrate your new single only to realize you've been replaced mid-chorus. Betrayal, shock, a tidal wave of press, then silence. Kelly Rowland and Beyonce stood by the managerial status quo, explaining that the group would have self-destructed if dissent continued. Matthew, meanwhile, framed the swap as necessary to protect the brand. Industry insiders whispered a harsher spin, challenging the cash flow was unacceptable, full stop. By February 2000, the retooled quartet, Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle Williams, and Farrah Franklin, was sprinting across late-night stages, while LaTavia and LeToya watched from living room couches. Loyalty wasn't the only casualty. Mental health followed close behind. LaTavia and LeToya sued Matthew Knowles, Sony Music, and Destiny's Child LLC, alleging breach of fiduciary duty, unpaid royalties, and favoritism that funneled earnings toward Beyonce and Kelly. A confidential settlement eventually restored some back pay, but no court order can erase betrayal. Publicly, LaTavia tried to pivot, guest roles, a proposed R&B trio, Broadway auditions, but privately she spiraled. She's spoken since about numbing loneliness with non-stop partying and enough alcohol to drown the stage fright she still felt at home. "I spent nearly 2 decades under my own rock," she admitted in a tearful 2023 interview. As weeks became years, headlines dubbed her the forgotten child. Yet beneath that rock, resentment mixed with reflection, fuel for a story she vowed to tell one day. While LaTavia disappeared, new rumors surfaced about how tightly the Knowles camp controlled every variable, including skin tone. Former member Farrah Franklin later claimed that management required everyone except Beyonce to hit tanning beds so the lead singer would remain visibly lighter on magazine covers. Interview clips show Farrah recalling spray tan sessions scheduled between rehearsals. Vocal coach Ashley Tamer Davis described a separate incident in which Tina Knowles allegedly dismissed her as too dark and too tall to blend with the group's look. The accusation feeds a broader industry conversation: how colorism silently shapes casting calls, record deals, and marketing budgets. To be clear, Beyonce has never commented publicly on these claims, and no paper trail confirms an official tanning policy. But fans notice the optics. Promotional photos often frame Beyonce front center in brighter lighting, while other members appeared bronzed. Coincidence? Meticulous branding? Or both? control, some insiders say, extended far beyond Destiny's Child to anyone who threatened the group's chart share. R&B trio Block seemed destined for a breakout after 808 and Bring It All to Me cracked Billboard's top 10. But their sophomore album Torch was abruptly shelved while, crucially, Matthew Knowles controlled their masters. The group later won back rights and self-released the record, telling The Guardian they'd spent years fighting to be heard. Around the same era, Blue Cantrell's sprinting success, Hit 'Em Up style, peaked at number 2, fizzled into tabloid whispers, alleging she'd crossed Beyonce's orbit via rumored ties to Jay-Z. Nothing concrete ever surfaced, but blogs speculated that radio programmers quietly iced Blue once Beyonce's solo rollout gained steam, an unverified theory that still trends on fan forums. These stories fall squarely into industry folklore, but the pattern, a hot act cooling the moment it collides with Team Knowles, keeps the conspiracy warm. And then come two controversies documented by court filings, not gossip columns. In 2007, British soul singer Desiree filed suit after Beyonce re-recorded Kissing You, retitling it Still in Love, Kissing You, and adding herself as co-writer. The case settled privately. Beyonce pulled the video and scrubbed the track from later album pressings. Critics claimed the dust-up kneecapped Desiree's stateside resurgence. Fast forward to 2016, online chatter accused Beyonce of pressuring Jay-Z's title platform to leak Rihanna's Anti-Early, allegedly to soften competition for Formation. No document proves it, and reps for all parties denied wrongdoing. Still, the rumor lives on because it fits an existing narrative. Queen Bee protects her throne by any means. Remember Guideline 6A, all speculative, unverified. So where does that leave the woman whose disappearance started this investigation? Sobriety anniversaries replaced bar tabs, therapy replaced isolation. LaTavia co-founded the Le Papillon Foundation to mentor at-risk girls, ventured into hair care, and teased a docuseries aptly called The Reintroduction. Her postponed memoir, I Am LaTavia, is now slated for late 2025, promising the story nobody wanted printed. Recent Instagram reels show her unfiltered, no glam squad, just candid reflections on friendship, faith, and facing panic attacks before grocery runs. She credits motherhood for grounding her and hints that she's finally comfortable revisiting those TRL memories without breaking down. She may not be alone on the next press tour. LeToya Luckett, LaTavia's partner in exile, spent years promising she'd never say a harsh word about Beyonce, but a series of 2025 podcast clips finds her inching closer to the line, acknowledging there's more to tell than people realize. Rumors now swirl that the two ex-members plan a joint interview or even a limited series documentary, laying out timelines, emails, and never published diary pages. Beyonce's camp has not commented, and Matthew Knowles, semi-retired from management, told Houston Chronicle reporters he wishes everyone healing. Meanwhile, Destiny's Child mini reunions, Instagram birthday shoutouts, onstage cameos keep hope alive for a full group performance. If that dream materializes, fans wonder, will LaTavia and LeToya stand in the spotlight or remain footnotes? Strip away platinum plaques and pyrotechnics, and this saga boils down to two conflicting truths. Beyonce's family built a relentless machine, laser-focused on protecting one superstar brand. LaTavia, LeToya, and others insist that machine chewed through real people, friends, even sisters, to keep its gears turning. Maybe 19-year-old Beyonce really was just a passenger in her father's limousine, powerless to reroute its course. Maybe she quietly blessed the eject button to preserve her rise. 2.5 decades later, only first-hand testimonies can close the case, and those pages are finally on the printing press. So where do you land? Was LaTavia collateral damage in a ruthless industry chess match or evidence of a master plan shaped by the Knowles playbook? Drop your theory below and subscribe to not miss any of the daily uploads. When that memoir hits shelves, pop culture's neat origin story might never sound the same.